Hello, everybody. Welcome to Exploring the Wine Glass. And today we are doing one-star winery reviews, which came about because of a phenomenal podcast that I listened to called Your Stupid Opinions, where two comedians, James Patrigallo and Jimmy Wisman, make me laugh so hard at people's stupid opinions. And I thought that it would be an interesting concept to see how these opinions carry over to the wine world, because I don't know what can go bad when you're just drinking wine and enjoying views. But today I have two co-hosts with me to join in the fun. I have Nikki and Martha, and they're going to give you their own little brief bio and about themselves and their podcast also. So, Nikki, come on on.
Hello. Thanks for having me be a part of this. I'm really excited. My name is Nikki Corbett, and I'm the host of the Entrepreneurship Anywhere podcast. And I'm also a business coach and a digital nomad. I've been traveling the world and working from wherever I land. So excited to be here and talk wine. Wine is one of my passions.
All right. And Martha?
Hi, I'm Martha, and I have a podcast called My Aloof Vagina, which is about the perimenopause experience and not taking ourselves too seriously. And, you know, I've been in wine. I was in wine for years, and I'm back in wine again in my day job. And it's amazing how seriously people take themselves with wine and at wineries, but also how serious people take themselves when they're giving reviews. And so this sounded like a really fun way to let off some of that steam because sometimes we receive reviews.
Yeah, and I agree. It's That's one of the things that I constantly try to educate people with is wine does not need to be serious. Wine should be enjoyed and wine should have fun times and laugh and tell those stories as that bottle of wine goes lower and lower and lower. And that's what it's about. We've got to be able to laugh at ourselves and we've got to be able to laugh at the things around us.
Definitely.
100%.
All
Definitely.
right. So I thought that it would be fun to head over to Temecula for this episode.
Oh,
So Temecula kind of gets a bad rap sometimes. So I thought it would be fun. Have either of you been to Temecula?
I have, but it's been years. And I know my wine palette has changed like dramatically since then. But what are they doing out there?
I I don't know. Should we find out what people think about
Yeah.
Temecula?
100%. I have to be careful what I say about Temecula because I grew up in Fallbrook, near next door to
Sure.
Temecula, basically. And my mom worked at one of the wineries back in the 80s. And so we had a lot of opinions. But now my friends are members of all those wineries and they
Oh
take
my
it
gosh.
very seriously. So I mean, I'm going to
Oh.
be speaking freely. My last name's not on this thing. It's fine. No one's going to find me.
Well, we will keep in mind that you or Nikki or I are not the people who made these comments.
No.
Yeah.
So we did not make these observations. We did not write this down. So we are just reading off what people thought was okay to write to the
Yeah.
public world.
That's like a perfect way to put it. What people thought was okay to write.
Exactly.
All right, and I'm curious if we hit any of the wineries that you're familiar with or that friends are members with, because that will just add a whole other level to this ball game.
Hmm.
All right, so I'm going to start off with Callaway Vineyard and Winery. They are located at 32720 Rancho California Road. They have a 4.4 review with 718 reviews, or 4.4 stars with 718 reviews. So
That's pretty good.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
According to them, they were founded in 1974. Callaway was the first winery to open its doors in the Temecula Valley. Approachable, flavorful, and extremely well balanced, wines are synonymous with the Callaway name. We invite you to taste, sorry.
No, that is funny because it's like you n would never describe a wine as Callaway. So,
Yeah.
Right. A golf ball, maybe. Isn't that a golf company?
yeah, exactly.
I had to go back and read that. Like, did I read that wrong? Was there, but yes, so well-balanced wines are synonymous with the Callaway name. Okay. We invite you to taste our wines at our Temecula winery, and they were voted best tasting room in the nation by Newsweek.
Wow.
So,
That's a big win. I
Yeah.
mean, considering the number of tasting rooms.
right. And so what could go wrong?
Yeah.
What what could be so bad that people are going to leave a one star review? So we're going to start off with Sue Valerio.
Oh
Not
my
a
gosh,
lot.
she used her whole name.
She did.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. So not afraid. And mm, maybe she should be.
oh my gosh.
So not a lot of reviews. So she must have been serious about what she felt here. She's only
Yeah.
got 3 total reviews.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
And this was 7 months ago. So she's been there
Okay.
somewhat recently. Wine is okay, nothing major, but the food is terrible. Ordered an octopus, one leg.
Okay. You mean tentacle, but okay.
I was going to say I didn't know an octopus had legs.
Yeah.
But she got one leg came out burned, and the other one was fishy.
I mean,
Oh.
hold on a second. I'm sorry to back up, but who orders octopus in the Inland Empire?
And
Right?
I mean,
Like you're
I'm
so
shocked that they
far
even
from the
have it on their
sea.
menu.
Yeah.
Like, but that's, I mean, that's a them thing, but like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I still can't get past the leg, one leg.
Yeah.
Well, did they bring like the whole like body of the octopus on the plate and then there was one leg attached? Like I'm
No,
trying to
typically
understand. Did
they,
she expect 8 pieces?
yeah, I mean, I mean, yeah, that's a great question. Like, what would her expectations have been? Perhaps she's never had octopus before because it does often come kind of charred and like barbecued and
Yeah.
I would think a couple of tentacles is typically normal. I mean, sometimes
That's a
at nice
lot
restaurants you
to
only get
eat.
one.
Yeah.
So,
Do you?
Sorry.
I don't eat cephalopods or anything that comes out of the water. They send the whole tentacle. I thought it came with the suctions, and
yeah, so
then
basically when octopus has 8 tentacles and they remove the tentacles from the body. So you don't get
right.
served the round body part, but then they typically boil them and then sometimes they'll throw them on a barbecue or a grill to get it a little bit charred and a different that flavor. And when it's done right, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm a big fan of octopus. But yeah, I mean the little suction cups are on there too, but it's when it's cooked right, it's not chewy. It's very tender, and I think it's quite
And
delicious.
not fishy.
No, it shouldn't be fishy.
So she continues, no, no. But then she continues, no good seasoning, tasteless. Well, it was fishy. So I guess
It
there's
wasn't
taste.
tasteless.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, oh, actually, it's a gentle, well, no. And then my wife ordered only fries after that. I ordered chicken with veggies. Chicken was a small breast, and guess what? Veggies were only green beans. And they charged an extra $10 for those green beans.
Hmm. Well,
Very, very upset, Sue.
I mean, this is useful information if you're going to go there and order a chicken breast, I guess. What did it normally come with? I mean, I'm
yeah.
$10 is pretty high for an upcharge, but I think we're missing the main point, which is she ordered octopus
Octopus in Temecula.
in Temecula.
Temecula. Well, and also like I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I go wine tasting, I'm not going expecting like a Michelin starred meal. I'm going expecting like ideally there's some olives, some nuts, maybe a nice cheese that
She's
pairs great with the wine. But also there's no expectations on that. It's typically like let's taste a couple places, then let's go to a fabulous restaurant that's also in the city in which we're tasting.
right. I
Exactly.
agree.
And most wineries, I mean, I don't know about in Temecula because I haven't been to this one, but I've also only been to a few. Most wineries have limited ability to provide food.
Yeah.
Like they might have only a catering license. I mean, this is of course inside
Right.
baseball, but that's why sometimes you go and they're prepackaged
Hmm.
baskets and things
Yeah.
like that. They're not really the place to go to dine.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a whole other license to be able
Yeah.
to serve actual restaurant type food.
Octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not wine tasting and octopus. Two different vibes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Two
for
Definitely.
different
sure.
vibes. All right. Next we have Big Jim.
Nice.
Big Jim is considered a local guide with 121 reviews. And he drove up from San Diego for this
To Temecula?
to Temecula specifically for Callaway Winery.
Okay.
It's because it's synonymous with
It's
smooth tasting wines.
Yeah.
It was worth the
It was
drive.
worth the
Yeah.
drive. Absolutely. He was tired of all the beer in San Diego and said, I got to drive up to Temecula just for Callaway. Um, he was stoked. So I
Oh,
walked into their restaurant, which wasn't even half full, and the hostess immediately said they weren't taking walk-ins. I just said, okay, turned around and walked myself to their unkept bathrooms that had toilet paper and piss everywhere and dropped a giant deuce to make sure Callaway knows how I feel about them.
Big Jim was
Wow.
here.
Big Jim
Big
was
Jim was here.
Wait, okay, so now I'm confused because is this actually a restaurant or is it a tasting room?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a restaurant because I will say a lot of the reviews have more to do with food than with the wine. So I'm
Interesting.
thinking it's a restaurant slash winery. So like a lot of the wineries here in Paso, you can like Niner, Cass, they have
Mhm.
actual restaurants. So you can go and eat lunch there or have dinner
Okay.
there and they serve their wines. So I'm guessing it's that. Um,
I
but
mean, so listen, Jim, if you're listening, um, you avoided fishy octopus far from the sea
Yeah.
and $10 green beans. So consider yourself, you know, grateful. I would be
yes,
grateful after that drive not to have suffered
yeah.
through that
And
kind
I
of a
would
dinner.
imagine, if since he was open about his usage of the bathrooms, that he probably left feeling better than he did when he arrived.
Exactly.
You know?
It's a long drive from San Diego to
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
Temecula,
little
you
bit
know?
lighter for that drive back to San Diego.
100%.
Uh, he then continues that he drove to a different winery that actually did serve him food, and it was great. I won't be going back to Callaway. And after Callaway finds out how I violated their facilities, I doubt they'll want me back. I'm pretty sure they don't.
Oh no. This is why Big Jim didn't use his real first and last name. He's out there
Yes.
giving bathroom revenge,
Bathroom revenge.
which might be highly
Seriously.
actionable. Who knows? I don't know the laws out there, but that could be
Yeah.
something you got in trouble for.
Yeah, and interestingly enough,
Yeah.
no owner review
No
reply.
honor response.
No response.
Yeah. That is always interesting when, someone leaves a scathing review and an owner does respond. And sometimes, they can be defensive. I mean, I'm not a big negative review leaver, but I did leave a negative review one time about a restaurant in Sacramento, and I actually got a phone call from the manager within an hour of it being posted.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so they
Somebody is
invited us to come back in and have everything on them, and it was a phenomenal experience. But I think we just had a waiter on a poor night that night that just made everything awful.
yeah.
Maybe that's what Big Jim is really hoping for is
Maybe.
a gift card.
Yeah,
He's
but
hoping for an apologetic
Maybe.
gift card or something.
Yeah.
but I'm thinking the way he went about it,
It's not
not
going to
quite,
work.
not
Yeah.
quite. I don't think they, oh, we'll bring him back so he can do that again,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and then I guess doesn't believe in flushing or anything like that. And so, who are you really hurting, Jim?
Yeah.
Who?
It's
Oh
a
my
signature
gosh.
move.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
He's
just
Yeah.
pooping all
all
over
over.
Southern California.
You think you go into a restaurant, you go into a bathroom. Hey, Big Jim's been
Big
here.
Jim's been here. Oh, geez.
Maybe that's why he calls himself Big Jim.
Oh, God,
Ooh. Oh
perhaps.
my gosh.
There's so many directions to
Should
go
we
with
go?
his screen name and his comment.
All right. And again, a one-time reviewer here. We have Kelly Nitzke, Neitske. Terrible customer service. A gentleman by the name of Daniel told us we did not spend enough money at the winery after our party of four enjoyed wine tastings, two charcuterie trays, and a bottle of wine mid-afternoon while their winery was not at all busy. Unreal.
Whoa.
I mean, maybe this
That's,
place isn't a great place to go. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know. That's
Wow. That's not a good person you want on your team representing your winery and your brand. Jeez.
Yeah, I have never
That sounds
ever
like a
been told
lot
I
for a
didn't.
group of four. A bottle,
yeah.
wine tastings, and two charcuterie boards. Like,
And
that sounds like a nice tip.
yeah, and why I've never heard of you have to spend X amount of money. There's
Same. Yeah.
spend X amount of money and get this or do
Yeah.
this,
Or
you
get
know.
like a discount if you buy 6 bottles, or get your tasting comped if you buy X amount of bottles, but not
Right.
like a minimum spend to
Spend.
just come in and enjoy.
I agree.
Spoiler alert, that
I'm
was
with
Big Jim. He was impersonating a server.
what was on the charcuterie board?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I know. Hopefully there's no octopus.
Uh,
So on this, I'm with Kelly on this one. I'm
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
pro
I think it's a
Kelly.
fair review. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless there's a backstory. So here's the thing,
Yeah.
we're only getting one person's side of the story. So it's possible, sorry, Kelly, if this didn't happen to you, but my imagination runs wild, right? That maybe they were making some demands. I mean, what
Yeah.
would you have to do to push someone in the service industry to actually say those words out loud to you?
That's true. That's definitely
Maybe,
true. I
you
think
know?
Daniel needs a fair shake here. What's his side of the story?
Right.
Exactly. Daniel has had it up to here. They were there for 10 hours or
That
something,
Yeah,
is
right?
yeah.
true. That could be true. And hey, Daniel, we need more water. We need more. Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be true. Good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We'll
I'm just
defend
trying to
Gotta look
Daniel
at
defend
on
it
this
from
him,
one.
all sides.
Yeah.
right?
We'll defend Daniel on this one. Yeah. All right. We've got Ralph Poffenberger. Poffenberger.
Look him
Wor-
up.
Yeah, look him up.
Seriously.
Worst wine tasting ever. Was ignored. And when we did get someone to acknowledge us, it was without any explanation of the wine. Just poured our choice and went back to flirting with the young girls. Daniel, was that
Uh-huh.
you? Such a disappointment. And after the second pour, I should have asked for our money back. Not an enjoyable experience at all. Negative 5 stars if I could.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. It is funny to imagine them all being there on the same day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, in that event, if I were I can't remember what you said his name was, something Burger, I would be
Ralph.
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 Yeah, I mean, in Ralph's defense, like I would be bummed if they weren't telling me anything about the wine. It's funny because I feel like there's a spectrum, right? Like sometimes you get someone pouring wine and they're just telling you like from like the day the grape was planted until the day it was like poured out of the bottle and you're like, "Okay, can we try it now?"
Right.
But then it's like you want to know a little bit, but you don't want to know its whole life journey. But yeah, you'd at least like to know, like, hey, this is why this winery makes this wine, and this is where the grapes were grown, and this is why we think this harvest is delicious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is supposed to be a sales opportunity. You have a winery, right? I
Yep.
mean, it's your opportunity to sell the wine in a way that no one in a store is going to sell it. Even a Somm might not sell it that way,
Right.
at a restaurant. And so it's your chance to provide that personal perspective so they buy more.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think you have to, when people come into the tasting room, we kind of judge how far down that line they want to go. Some are really, really into it and want to know the technical stuff. Others just want to know this is a Cabernet Franc and drink it, and then you kind of modify how you speak to that person and what information you give to that person. So again, I don't know, Ralph, did you ask for information? Or were you, maybe Ralph was interested in the young girls and, he was a little
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, Catherine Wagner. For a $20 wine tasting, I was expecting much more than a nice view of the vineyard. The wine reminded me of one time I fell asleep with my mouth open and the ceiling fan on.
Oh,
Oh, dry.
Dry,
yeah.
bone
But
dry.
okay. I mean, what if you don't want a view of the vineyard? What do you want a view of?
Right.
Like you're at a winery. Do you want a waterfall? I mean,
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, $20 tasting for a view, $20 for an afternoon or a couple of hours of entertainment, I don't think is that
I mean,
out
it's
of
only
control.
twice as much what it costs for green beans.
Yeah. I think it's interesting in reading all of these different things. It's like you wonder what different folks' expectations are when going to a winery to taste wine. I mean, that is like the number one reason to go to a winery. It would be to taste
Taste
wine.
wine.
Like I feel like the views, sure, it's always nice. It's like, oh, this looks nice. This is a nice ambiance. But it's like ultimately, like if you're going to a winery, that's a very specific destination.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that, Catherine is more into the sweet wines, because
Yeah.
so maybe do a little
Oh,
research before going and see if they even have any dessert wines or, wines that are on the sweeter side. Because Catherine would not be happy if she came into Dresita Wines because all of our wines are dry. So, there's zero sugar in all of our wines. So I guess she could be leaving that same review for
yeah.
like at some point you've got to do your own little research and know what you're visiting,
Oh
right?
my gosh. Yeah. And that's another thing is like, do people just maybe do some people just drive by? I mean, I have driven by a winery before and pulled off, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like I like to think I know a little bit about wine, so it's more curiosity, not lack of knowledge.
Right. Yeah, I
Hmm.
know. I think you have to kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So, a dream dress. That's
Okay.
the name.
Oh.
Uh, don't go to the wineries K or eat. It's a trap for city cops waiting and around the road after you get money for the 10,000 for a DUI. I think she was drunk when she wrote this.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah. Maybe she wrote it from the holding cell.
all right. So I'm gonna try this again. Don't go to wineries K or eat. No punctuation in the whole thing.
Love
It's a
that.
trap for city cops. Wait and round road after you go to get money for city 10K per. I don't know what word this is supposed to be. PRRSPE. Maybe 10K per person on
Oh.
DUI, and also Temecula Old Town City makes 10K. They wait till you leave. Don't come. It's a city racket here. K warned.
Oh.
Whoa. Okay. So sounds like she went wine tasting, enjoyed herself, had maybe a little too much, got pulled over, got a DUI. And yeah, from what I know about DUIs, it can cost about 10K when all is said and done with the classes, if you have to have a lawyer, and then how much your insurance goes up if you are if you get your license taken away and you're unable to drive for a
Right.
little while. So
Yeah.
yeah. And I also would be curious with her usage of that it was a trap. Perhaps maybe she's had some friends fall into said trap as well.
Well. Maybe that's
Well,
why
and
it's per person, is which I
Yeah, per
think that's supposed
person.
to be. Yeah.
and it sounds like she's saying also not don't go to Old Town. Don't go into town in Temecula.
Right. Yeah.
If
It's
you're
not
gonna drink and drive.
Drink.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Right.
So I think we could just shorten this and she wouldn't really need any punctuation. She could just say, don't drink and drive.
Yes, 1000%.
Right. Let's give a 1-star review to drinking and driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a 1-star
Not a
review
1-star review to the
To the
winery.
winery.
To
Yes,
Callaway
exactly.
Winery.
Yeah, that's
Unless
a
Daniel called him on her, right? As
oh,
she was
right.
leaving. Maybe
Oh, could
Yeah.
Daniel.
be.
I mean, well, yeah, so that's an interesting conundrum there because number one, it's like I get that because you don't want people drinking and driving, but then number two, like are you the one that was serving them?
Right.
So that's always interesting because I have heard that like in and out employees are technically trained to call the police if they think that there's someone in the
Somebody
drive-through that's
intoxicated.
been drinking and
Oh,
driving.
really?
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's pretty
actually
much
there's
the only time people go to In and Out.
yeah, like it's at late at night. There was when people get arrested, it's like in the paper or whatever. So I grew up in a small town and there's an In and Out and one night like a screenshot of the nightly arrests had gone around because they had arrested not one but two people in the In and Out drive line that night who were both very intoxicated and napping in the line. So yeah. Yeah.
It would
Not
be
a good look.
terrible to get nabbed like that, but and also if you didn't get to get your food,
Food.
because those
Yeah.
lines can take a long
So
time.
long. So long.
They are so long.
Yeah.
All
That's a
right.
bummer.
Shall we move on to another winery?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
sure.
Bye,
All right.
Daniel.
Bye, Daniel. We will not be visiting.
We'll have to do math. I'll do some math before we do this again because I'd like to see how many 1 stars it takes to drop a group of 5 stars. Because
That's
didn't you say
true.
this one had like 700
Yes.
reviews to get it to an average of 4.4?
4.4.
So I wonder how many of those are, in fact, the 1 stars that drag it down because it's probably not that many that start dragging it.
No, because you figure a five and a one
Yeah.
goes to a 3, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Callaway has 718 reviews.
Mhm.
This winery has 2,061.
Wow. Which
Right.
winery is this?
This is Wilson Creek Winery.
Never heard of it. All right.
They have a 4.6 stars with that 2,061 reviews, and they are located at 35960 Rancho California Road. And their statement about themselves, delightfully referred to as our extended family, the Wilson family is proud to have built a community around the sharing of the wine, the celebration of the family, and the passion to enhance the lives of everyone our brand touches.
Okay.
Okay. Now, wherever there's family, there's drama.
Fights.
There's
Yeah.
fights, there's drama. All right. So the first fight we're gonna have is Abdikhawani Abukar. Now, Abdikhawani didn't just leave a review. Hold on, because this is gonna make the podcast go over an hour. They wrote they wrote a letter.
Oh, wow.
They
Oh,
wrote an
no.
actual letter. Dear Wilson Creek Winery Management, I am writing to share a deeply disappointing experience I had during my visit to your winery on Saturday, 10/12. What should have been a joyful celebration of my girlfriend's 30th birthday was ruined by the biased and unprofessional behavior of your employee, Carly, and the mishandling of the situation by your manager, Christina Berry. He is just throwing everybody under the bus.
Yeah.
Here we go. The first issue arose when I was registering for our tour. The employee assisting me was reviewing my reservation when Carly interrupted, suggesting she check for proof of payment. Well, I found this uncomfortable. I didn't think much of it at the time. Unfortunately, things took a serious turn later when I purchased a cigar from the gift shop. After purchasing the cigar, Carly insisted I take a bag, stating people might think it's stolen. This comment was offensive and completely unnecessary. The cigars are locked behind a glass case, behind a counter with employees in between, and I had just purchased the cigar from Carly herself. This wasn't about whether I should take a bag. It was about Carly's biased assumption that without a bag, people would assume I had stolen the cigar. It was demeaning and made me feel singled out based on an unfair assumption. There's more.
That's so weird. Because like if I bought something and I was walking away from purchasing it, it wouldn't even cross my mind to think that what anyone else may think. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
So like why would she, if she knew as the person that works there, knew that he had paid for it, why would she
right,
care also? That's weird.
right.
Yeah.
So I guess this person is right with some assumptions or bias. When I brought this to the attention of your manager, again, calling out Christina Berry, I expected her to address the seriousness of Carly's comment. However, Christina completely sidestepped the issue. Rather than acknowledge how inappropriate and offensive Carly's comment was, she focused on the fact that offering the bag is just standard protocol. She
Okay,
never
well, offering it is one thing.
Yeah.
forcing it.
Yeah, saying people might think you stole it. That's why you should take the bag is entirely another.
Right? She never addressed the actual issue that Carly made a ridiculous bias comment when I declined the bag. When I pointed out that another customer who purchased a cigar didn't receive the supposed protocol, Christina's response was to offer me a free bottle of wine. I'm all right with that, right?
I mean, better than her just dismissing you again, but also still odd. I mean,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
agree. Kind of odd. He did not like this. Offering a free bottle of wine might be an appropriate gesture if there was a minor inconvenience, like a fly in the food or a delayed reservation. But it is completely inadequate, insulting in a situation where a customer has experienced discrimination. Christina's response trivialized the seriousness of the issue and made it clear that she wasn't interested in addressing the real problem: biased and unfair treatment. So I get it. I do see how he thinks that it's bias. I mean, your brain can only go to where he's leading you down.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know really what would have made him happy if she got fired, if
Well, I
he
think
was
probably
reprimanded.
acknowledgement for that that's just a really weird thing to say would have gone a long way in this case. Cause like that, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that that's like such a weird thing to say to somebody like, oh, people might think you stole it
Still
if
in
I
it.
don't give you a bag for it.
But it
Like,
was fine to not give the person before you a bag.
Right.
yeah, and I mean, I would assume like if a winery is also selling cigars and I'm gonna go, I mean, I do like an occasional cigar. Like I think they're fun, but like I wouldn't if I'm wine tasting, I'm not gonna just randomly buy a cigar and be like, gonna put this in my purse for later. You know, it's like I'm gonna buy a cigar because I'm gonna have it right
There
then
with the wine. That's
with
the
the
whole
Yeah.
point.
wine. Yeah. So you would think also that that would be another reason why like not having a bag would be no big deal because he's going to just go out to your patio and light it with his next round.
Right. Although now,
Yeah.
right, in California, you get charged 10 cents for every bag, right? So
Yeah, maybe
maybe they
that's
just
it too. Seriously, it's so
They're making
ridiculous.
7 cents a
That's
bag, people. They're making
Yeah.
7 cents a bag.
had
But
nothing to
yeah,
do with bias, nothing to do with that. They
yeah,
just
yeah.
wanted
Seriously,
that.
they just want that
They give
seven
her a
cents.
bonus. The more bags she
Yeah.
pushes a day,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
more
but
she
seriously, like I
makes.
think this is a good management. Like this is more, I mean, obviously like the employee like is very out of pocket. But like the manager in this case, it's like she should have just been like, "Wow, that you're totally right. Like I'm so sorry. I'll definitely talk to
Right.
her later." And maybe who knows, maybe she was thinking that, but I think saying that would have gone a long way in
For
this
this
case.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
100%. I mean,
Absolutely.
otherwise falling back on policy. Oh, well, it's
Yeah, that's
required. It's
stupid.
just it's
Yeah.
ignoring what he's trying
It's
to bring to your
ignoring it.
attention is I
Totally.
feel like I'm being singled out.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And you know, I mean, I'm actually shocked she offered a bottle of wine. I feel like there have been, you know, things where massive screw ups have happened and you literally get nothing.
Nothing.
So, I mean, and who's to rank like what's worse, you know, feeling like discriminated against versus, you know, another type of, you know, issue with a reservation or something. But I mean, I'm actually shocked she offered that.
Yeah. She could have offered another cigar too.
Yeah. Or comped their
Free
tasting
bag.
or
Tasting, right.
yeah.
Free bag. Here's your
Right.
free
Yeah.
bag. Right.
Well, and it
Keep
sounds
your
like it
dime.
started as soon as they showed up, right? There was
Yeah.
they were questioning whether or not
Oh
he'd
yeah.
paid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So it's the same girl who questioned whether he'd paid for his girlfriend's special event,
Right.
who's
Yeah.
now,
I wonder, does it say how many
implying.
people were with them? Was it just the two of them or was there a group?
Nope. Just no.
Doesn't say.
Just says yeah.
Yeah, because I do wonder too. I mean, I could see, I mean, I could see that that's a normal question to just like confirm, like with a group, like, hey, like just confirming that you paid online. Let me just look it up and make sure everything's
Right.
good there, and then get you
Yeah.
going.
And yeah.
Um, I think
Uh,
that the cigar thing is just the bag thing is the weirdest piece of this whole puzzle, and I think he's justified in his frustration.
Yeah. I
For
agree with the
sure.
bag concept. The registering for the tour, I don't think was anything wrong. Like you said, Nikki, just I've have this reservation, check to see if it's prepaid or it's not prepaid. Because
Yeah,
maybe you don't have to pay. Maybe they have the option online to pay for the reservation or
yeah,
to pay, when you got there. So that I don't think is an issue, but the rest of it, I'm with them. I'm with them.
Well,
Yeah.
and the thing
yeah,
is, if this guy is it's probably not the first time he's run into feeling discriminated against because it's probably having to deal with it every day in
Right.
some form. And so, if at the end of this experience he feels that way and doesn't feel heard, then he probably reviewed the entire time there in his head.
yeah,
But
for
And
right.
sure.
so that initial part where it seemed like they didn't know if he'd paid might have taken on a more nefarious
First. True.
um, view in his head after.
Yeah.
Plus, he's probably embarrassed
No,
because he's treating his girlfriend. Like the thing is, it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like Christina did not handle it properly.
I agree.
Yeah, not at all. And it's like it's these types of things are so unfortunate because it's like what that old saying that's like, nobody shares positive reviews, everyone just shares like negative reviews and you have a bad experience and now anytime in the next probably 15 years that anybody brings up that winery and that guy's in the room, he's going to be like, "Don't go
Go there.
there." You know?
Oh, one time I went there, and probably as the years pass, the story will grow. Like
Yeah.
the amount, the
Yeah.
slights and the insults and the everything about it will have more analysis, and soon it will be. And they kicked us
Goes
out,
out. Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, it
Right.
is. I mean, it is
They
crazy
accused
though
me of stealing a
how
cigar.
yeah. I mean, but it is so crazy how that works like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I embellish stories all the time because I want people to listen to the whole
Whole
thing. So
thing.
it's always a big disaster, whatever it is, where it's really wonderful because it's a better story. That's bad for business.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's see what Laith Kuntar, Quntar, has to say. Got attacked by a drunk individual, and the security and staff basically did nothing. When I retaliated, we got asked to leave, even though everyone around us vouched for us and informed the staff that the others involved had already been starting the fights with others, and we were not to blame. So, see, it's always the retaliation that gets caught.
And also
Wow.
bad management still. This is
Yeah,
again
this
a
place needs
situation
a
where the managers
training
Yeah.
or a revamp in their
Christine,
on how
management.
to handle
Christina
things.
Berry needs to pay more attention.
Yeah.
They need to send her out for some retrain, some
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do they call that? De-escalation.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Right?
De-escalation.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
Lydia Trevino came for my birthday celebration. It was our first time here and we wanted to do the wine tour, but we're told they were only doing wine tasting. So we paid $120 for our group of four. Holy cow. $120 for our group of four to do the wine tasting. However, we were not informed that everything was closing early due to a wedding. We
Oh,
had, that sucks.
that totally sucks.
So we were at a brewery and my husband ordered a beer. We ordered 2 pints and they served it to us. And then 5 minutes later, literally 5 minutes later, told us we're closing for a private event. You need to leave. So he was, I get
What?
this. I get this.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Uh, uh, we had 5 rounds left on each of our tickets since you get a total of 6 rounds per person. And basically, we couldn't use any of them, and they refused to give us a refund.
What?
Ooh,
Christina!
Yeah.
yeah.
But wait,
Oh no.
Christina, well, I don't know if it's Christina, but we have a response from the owner.
Ooh.
Oh,
Thank you for your feedback, Lydia. We apologize for the inconvenience you experienced during your birthday celebration. We understand your disappointment is not being able to fully utilize your wine tasting tickets due to the early closure for a wedding. We apologize for not informing you about the early closure at the time of purchase, especially considering it was your first visit. We appreciate your feedback and will take into consideration how to improve our communication with customers in the future.
Oh, Christina, falling short again.
nothing for them. Like come back
Nothing
and we'll,
for them. No.
No
oh my
refund of the
God.
$120?
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
be like, come
That's like
back.
12
Yeah.
orders of green beans.
Yeah. They should be like, come back and tastings on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, that's lame.
yeah,
I would be
absolutely.
pissed.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Yeah, that $120 for 4 tastings and you got one sip. That's really
Yeah, that's
That's
lame.
terrible.
right. So we're going to go back to the bias here. Say Sayana M.
Oh no, there's
Okay.
another bias
No,
story.
oh, this one is big.
Oh
This one
no.
is big. This is 9 months ago. Uh, on vacation with the family. I'm appalled by the service me and my friends experienced by a bartender at Wilson Creek. The bartender, May, made a racist remark at my brother while I ding him saying, haven't I seen you on the terrorist watch list?
Whoa.
I'm starting to feel that
I
uh
think this winery needs to really consider their staff and
yep,
make some massive changes.
yep.
Oh,
So
100%.
Abdikani Abukar and Seonia, I think, are having the same situation going on. Like,
Jesus.
who comes out with that? Like, haven't I seen you on the terrorist what? Like,
That isn't even something that you would say kiddingly to like your best
but
friend.
I know,
Like that's like just rude. That's
Also,
yeah,
it's
horrible.
2024. I mean, that's the kind of
Yeah.
thing people said in 2003. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Seriously.
yeah, yeah. No response from the owner. I would have kind of
They
made a
respond to the other one with a bunch of with really a nothing burger, like, oh, basically, sorry that happened to you.
yeah,
And then they don't
but
respond to these other ones that are like
that are
so much
big,
worse.
that are big.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yo. Yeah.
yeah,
significant.
yeah.
And especially these are all within like what the last 12 months. Like that's kind
That
of
was
bad because a lot of people sort reviews by most recent.
yes,
You know, it's like I don't care what happened 5 years ago. I care about what happened like last
like,
month.
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. And to not see a response from the owner, like I would have been mortified. Like, oh my God, I
literally
am so sorry. Please describe this person because that person will no longer
will
be
not be
working for
working
me
here.
here. Yeah.
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 Yeah. But it looks like there was a trend for them. So
Dang.
we are going to leave the racist biased winery.
Oh, good. Because I don't want to have too much on record about them.
Yes. And we
Oh
are going to
gosh.
go to Leoness Cellars at 38311 D Portola Road. They have 755 reviews with a 4.5 stars. They offer stunning views of the vineyard and the surrounding mountains, providing picturesque backdrops for wine tasting, wine education, and tours, exceptional dining, special events. I'm getting the feel that Temecula does a lot of food in addition to just the
It
winery.
sounds like it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. With multiple rated 90 plus points in Wine Enthusiast and other major wine publications, our vision and philosophy at Lioness is simple. Farm high quality vineyards, produce award winning wines, and accommodate our members and guests with warm hospitality. Join us in sharing our passion for winemaking, our love for farming, and the perfect wine experience. That's setting the bar high.
That's
Perfect.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's high.
perfect wine experience. So let's see who does not think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Alyssa Ham, 5 months ago. Do yourself a favor and go anywhere else. Truly horrible service and terrible management. My friends and I made a reservation at Lioness Cellars for a Saturday afternoon. All reservations have a 2 hour time limit. We arrived 5 minutes early. The staff took 30 minutes to seat us, and we were moved to three different tables.
Oh, that's
People,
annoying.
yeah. People in my group are vegetarian. We asked the waitress if the fries were vegetarian. She said yes. And after the fries were delivered to our table, we were told they're not vegetarian.
Well,
She's back there.
yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna get this vegetarian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong in that.
So wait, was it just about the vegetarian thing though?
Well, I think it was about moving the tape,
We are moving the tables. I forgot about that. Yeah, moving the tables,
Yeah,
that's super annoying, especially if there isn't like a real reason why. I mean,
right,
she didn't specify that.
right.
I
Like, did you
mean,
ask to move to different tables? Were they wobbly? Were they in the sun? Were they?
yeah. Or were
Um,
they
And
just moving because of different parties coming in and they need, I don't know.
yeah,
and 30 minutes to accommodate them when there's a 2 hour time limit. So it's basically cutting into
yeah,
Yeah, cutting into
quarter
your
of their
time there.
time.
yeah. And I don't understand if you have a reservation, that's what a
Shouldn't your
reservation.
reservations start once you're seated, not like when you
I would,
arrive?
yeah, I would think so, but
That's how
still,
I thought it worked, but I mean, who
yeah.
knows?
But I still don't want to wait 30 minutes if I have a reservation. That's the
No, that's
whole
so
that's the
annoying.
whole
That's the
purpose
point
of
of a
the
reservation.
right. Right.
Here's the thing
Um,
about the fries, though. I've got the fries on my mind. Even McDonald's doesn't use beef tallow when they do fries anymore. Like people complain about it. It's all, seed oils.
right.
Who cooks fries in something other than plant oils anymore? I guess you could get duck fat fries. Maybe they were
Yeah.
something like that.
That I would think that
Yeah.
if that
And they
was true,
sound
though, they would put
delicious.
the I think that they would put that on the menu, though,
You
Yeah,
would
if because
think.
duck fat fries would be
right. Special.
yeah. Yeah. I don't
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm like totally the wrong person because I think I told a guy who worked for me at one point that the restaurant we went to that their fries were in fact vegan. But I don't think they were. I think they were fried in duck fat.
And did he love them? Did he
Yeah, he
just
thought they were
devour
amazing.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His nails probably grew better. His
For
hair was
yeah.
glossier
I mean,
after
I'm
that.
kind of like, guess what? I'm doing you a solid, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
Your body needs some
yeah.
of that cholesterol.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. I just
Mm.
I just think it's funny that they were told they were vegetarian and then that person had the gall to go back and say, "Oh, by the way, they're not." Ha 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 ha.
Well,
Yeah, I
You
I
think I would
know?
mean,
have kept that to myself.
well, yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, I would think like maybe that person was just really nice and was like, oh gosh, I told them they're vegetarian. I should probably tell them
That's
that they're
true.
not. I don't think it was. I don't think it was
Yeah,
malicious. I
that's
think it was
true.
more being like she double checked with the kitchen staff and they were like, oh no,
Oh, yeah.
like this is beef tallow or whatever it may be. But I mean, she could have let it slide. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I think, yeah, you're probably right. She probably went back at the very beginning. It'd be different if she went back at the very beginning where they had a fry versus, oh, by the way, that plate is empty and it was
yeah,
enjoy the
yeah,
duck.
yeah. Exactly, exactly.
Delicious.
Yeah.
These
Carnivores
are the best fries
won.
ever.
Yeah.
It's the battle.
All right. We go to Tyra Iponji 6 months ago. Only review this person has left. To say we had a disappointing experience at Lioness Cellars would be a massive understatement. Despite reserving an outdoor table 2 weeks prior for my 30th birthday and arriving 15 minutes early. See, that's the problem. You can't arrive early on a reservation, I think. We were
Yeah.
sh- we were shuffled around the property for almost an hour, eventually ending up in a windowless conference room due to staff miscommunications.
Ew.
This seems like
No.
a pattern.
Yeah. And then to answer your question, Nikki, no, the time starts at your reservation because we only had 40 minutes to enjoy the reservation due to the chaos and their policy. Additionally, we were misinformed about food options, resulting in meat dishes being served to vegetarians.
Oh no.
This must be on
Wow.
purpose.
I'm starting to think so.
I think this place doesn't know how to handle reservations. I mean,
Yeah.
what's going on? It's so funny. I was at a birthday party over the weekend and it was the same thing. Like the birthday girl had reserved a room at this place and confirmed it. And then she got there and they were like, "Ooh, we forgot." And I'm like, "That's your literal job. Like
Right.
your job is to take reservations and put them on a calendar. Like what do you mean you forgot?"
Forgot. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Well,
Yeah.
this person, Juliana, trusted them with her wedding.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Oh
Let's
no.
see how that goes. Oh my God, I feel so bad for her. Had my wedding here. Please learn from my mistake and avoid. The only good thing about the venue is the view, which is stunning. Lioness has such high turnover with its wedding coordinators. We had
Mm.
four during the course of the year of our planning. Uh,
Whoa.
on our wedding day, they didn't save my husband and me enough appetizers to at least each have one of each appetizer. The icing on top, we were told by the staff that they threw out our wedding cake before we even had a chance to get a slice.
Like before the
What?
party was even over, they threw it out?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
insane.
The coordinator said, "Well, I'll talk to the staff."
Wait, who would throw away wedding cake? Like it's
Ever.
like don't they typically like keep that and then like the staff gets to like enjoy when it's all over if there's anything left? Like wedding cake is
Uh,
usually delicious.
And it's
This
so
is
expensive.
wild.
People take it
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, I don't know if people do that, but when I got married, it was the tradition not to cut the top part of the
Yeah.
cake. And
Yeah.
you take it, you wrap it up, and you shove it in the freezer for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you have it on your first anniversary. So, yeah. I mean, that's not like throwing out a piece of pie that you thought was a leftover or,
Yeah.
somebody didn't eat it. It's a cake. It's a whole wedding cake.
Well, and one of the roles of the wedding coordinator is to like make sure that the bride and the groom are like taken care of. I mean, that's insane. Like I think back like I when I got married, they brought us appetizers while the appetizers were going out with everyone
Right.
else. And like we had cake when we left the reception
Yep.
because they were like, "Here, everyone had cake during the cake time. You guys didn't. Here's a bunch of slices for you guys to take up to your room."
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And no reimbursement offer or anything.
Yeah, this place I
Oh.
think needs to learn how to actually run itself.
Yeah.
I think it seems like they're failing on all aspects, food, beverage, and weddings.
Yeah.
And reservations.
And reservations.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have one more. We have Joe Garcia, and he says, hands down, the worst experience in Temecula. We were on an engagement dinner and had to wait 40 minutes for an appetizer. They brought out the first and second courses together, catered to much larger parties. We complained multiple times and never once saw a manager check in. Our food was cold and chain like, and the sangria was watered down. Okay, right there. Don't have sangria added, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, was was so watered down and flavorless that it is a surprise it was even a drink option. We never even made it to the entree order because the experience was so utterly horrendous. Instead, where did they go? In and out.
That's perfect.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, this place sucks. You know,
Yeah.
it's
that's
interesting as
terrible.
we've been doing this, I've been sitting here thinking about like people that leave negative reviews, right? And I think it's one of two people. It's either someone who's like super snobby and like wants to complain about like very niche things that, normal people don't think about when wine tasting, or it's people that had like a horrible experience because like you have to be really pissed off to go and sit down at your computer and like hammer out what just happened and why you're so mad.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think we got a lot of the latter in this round.
Yeah,
Yes.
this one I think is really these people had every right. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Totally mismanaged. But a beautiful view. A
A
beautiful
Yeah.
view.
beautiful view.
What's
So
interesting to me is most of these don't really talk about the wine at all.
no,
Literally not,
Like the
not
wine
one.
is not even a
Yeah.
factor in wine tasting in Temecula. We're talking
Yeah.
about cigars. We're talking about,
it's
you
true.
know, we're talking about food. We're talking about that kind of thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, one person
Waiting, a
said the wine was
reservation.
dry.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That was the
That was it.
only wine comment. That was the only wine comment. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Well, we are going to continue with Temecula on our next episode, and we will travel to another destination after Temecula. But yeah, do you guys want to say anything about what's coming up with you guys in the future?
Mm.
I'm looking forward to more Temecula reviews because not one of these wineries is one I've been taken to by my friends. So I didn't have to be nervous at all about whether it might be one of my friends' reviews you were going to read.
That's funny. That's funny. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, like I said, I host a podcast called Entrepreneurship Anywhere. So if you're interested in great stories from founders and business leaders,
Not
feel
from
free to come and
Temecula.
take a listen. Yeah, not from Temecula. They should listen and learn a thing or two from the people that I interview.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. And we had lots of laughs, and we will continue with Temecula and travel further on the next episode.
All right.
Awesome.